really hate myself. So much right now. Okay, so Norm of the North. Yay, I'm so excited, Norm of the North. So Norm of the North follows the story of a polar bear who is also a prince of the Arctic named Norm, who loves dancing to pop music on his iPod and saying really terrible jokes. Until he sees that his hometown is being ravaged by humans, so he decides to go to New York City where they came from to put an end to all this. So then he becomes an actor and becomes an overnight success due to his dancing and how realistic of a polar bear he is, cause he is a polar bear. So now using his instantaneous fame, Norm must do what he can to stop a major corporation from building houses on his own turf and with hopes of finding a loved one. I'm being straight up honest with you guys. I was really looking forward to seeing this well put together masterpiece, mainly to come on here and praise the movie. Rob Schneider as a polar bear? Perfect casting. It does not get any better than this. Am I right, guys? Rob Schneider? Yeah? You also have the intriguing story, the realism of the animation, the well fleshed out characters. You can find it all here in Norm of the North. Who am I kidding? This movie is a huge pile of shit. Where do I even start with Norm of the North? Everything that you can possibly do to make an animation bad, it does just that in this movie. The animation is some of the worst these eyes have ever seen, just ever. It kind of reminded me of those really shitty straight to Redbox animations that's trying to rip off Frozen. Whenever you're looking through the options and you find that obscure movie called The Snow Queen, The Magic of the Ice Mirror, don't question how I know that. These are the types of animations that if your child did something really bad like call you a piece of shit, then the Snow Queen is one of those grade C animations that you show them to let them know, hey little Johnny or little Susie, you fucked up. Norm of the North is along those lines of being that bad of an animation where it doesn't even deserve to be on the options of your Redbox list or just existence. It deserves the E.T. extraterrestrial for Atari 2600 treatment. Go out in the far reaches of the desert, bury it deep, and pretend it never happened. But Norm of the North is one of those movies that if you see it, it can never be unseen. It takes every basic human sense that you have and rapes it to death. The story is laughably hilarious, like a polar bear who dances to shitty music on his iPod, like not even the newer iPods, like the first generation fat bulky ones. You can't even update the iPod movie, really? Or better question, how in the world does a polar bear have an iPod out in the middle of the Arctic to begin with? That sounds like a better story. And Norm wants to go to New York City because this huge corporation is building condos on his homeland that's meant for the 1% of the world's population, and even if it was for the middle or lower class people, who in the fuck wants to live in the Arctic? For the upper class, they have so many choices. A condo on the beaches of California, or Dubai, or France. Nope, the Arctic. What's there to do down there anyway? Like a snow fight and more snow with animals trying to kill your ass? It just shows that this business that Norm is trying to stop is just a shitty corporation. And Norm gets famous because of his realistic look of a polar bear. I mean, people are so dumb in the movie. They can't tell if Norm is really a polar bear. That shit is real. They can't tell if Norm is a polar bear or a human being. Are you fucking kidding me? They go up to him and they're like, oh, your costume is so real looking. You look like a polar bear. You have the teeth of a polar bear. And god damn, you smell like a polar bear. And they treat him like your typical run-of-the-mill human being that's just walking around New York City like he's part of the normal crowd. If I was there, I would be really concerned. I mean, where's Donald Trump when you need him? Norm of the North kind of in a way offends kids because it treats them as if their brains aren't really in their heads. They explain every little bit of life lesson to them, like family and courage, like a little bit of a surprise movie. Kids aren't really dumb shits as you think they are. You don't have to be all like, oh, I came back for you because you're family and I love you. Kids are smart enough to pick up on that on their own. Don't explain every little bit of detail to them because ultimately you'll get a movie that bores them to death, or they'll get their ass beat because they're screaming too much in the theater. More like I was screaming my ass off in the theater. I was going up to little kids and their parents and going all like, ah, what the fuck? And little Timmy's all, stop it. And why a 20-something-year-old man is going out to see Norm of the North when Star Wars is in theaters? Well, I'm really speaking for the parents out there. If you take your kid to go see this, they either did something to really piss you off or you just hate your kids entirely. You will do your kids a disservice if they ever witness an atrocity like Norm of the North. Only show it to them if they really fucked up at home. Because in the end, Norm of the North is easily one of the worst animations and worst looking animations I have ever seen. The characters were terrible. They did extremely illogical things. Like, how could a human not tell if Norm was a polar bear? Like, bitch, please. And it treats kids as if they're really dumb in the movie. Like, they need to explain every little bit of life lesson to them. I'm pretty sure you can tell that this amazing masterpiece called Norm of the North is really an absolute abomination to cinema. I never once had a suicidal thought, but now I'm considering it. For those poor unfortunate souls out there, I want to know what your thoughts are about Norm of the North, and what is the worst animated movie you have ever seen. Whatever it is, leave it down below. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all that social media shit down below. Keep in contact with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, may the force be with you. God, I really need a drink. This looks like it'll do the trick. It's like 8:30 in the morning.